Alright, this is the 5-2, week 24, and this video goes out to Kumquatsis, a regular viewer, and I have wanted to talk about the 5-2 for a while. This is a critically acclaimed weekly series, and this is a pretty good issue of it. But I didn't like the 5-2. Like most, or even all, of the DC weekly series, it moves at a snail's pace, and it is always the case that of the myriad of stories, there are one or two you care for, and the rest you're just putting up with. With the 5-2 specifically, I take a major issue with a plot element which is the basis for this issue, and that is that the Trinity, Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman, they have disappeared for a year. They are taking a year off, and the 5-2 covers that year. I think it is out of character for all three of them to skirt their responsibilities like that. But what makes it worse is that everyone else in the DC universe seems to take a gap year as well. The Justice League disbands. The Justice Society of Superheroes become inactive. The Tiny Titans gone through a cycle of new and substitute members because all the main ones have fucked off. It is a terrible look for just about every superhero in the DC universe that they have all decided to take a year off. Anyway, this issue is about the absence of the Justice League and a failed attempt to reform them. The 5-2 had 4 writers, although I would say 5, because Kevin Giffen was involved with every issue, and every now and again there's a little bit that feels like something he suggested. But the 4 writers are a mixed bag. We have Van Morrison, we have John Jeffries, we have Martin Quaid, and we have Glenn Rucka. People always praise how effortlessly these 4 went together and produced a comic that felt natural and not like a story written by 4 different people. I couldn't disagree with Summit more. I can tell which parts are written by which writer. It's mostly the case that a writer writes one of the storylines. Glenn Rucka, for example, he does all the Mrs. Questions, Batswoman stuff, and there's barely a hint of anyone else in there. John Jeffries briefly when it overlaps with his Black Atom story, but it is so blatantly just Glenn Rucka. And then there is the Mr. Fantasticals plot line that is mostly Martin Quaid. There is one where Van Morrison joins them, the church one. And then there is this issue. This is mostly Van Morrison with a little bit of John Jeffries. I never understood how so many comic book readers cannot identify writers on books like this. We start off with Ara, and he gets a call from the Justice League, and it is Firelord asking him to come and join the newly reformed team. And it is a shambles. This new Justice League has been brought together by Frankie Ray, but she is using them as a means to improve her popularity rating in her day job as a politician. The others are Firelord, except this isn't the Firelord we saw a few videos ago. This is the new Firelord, who doesn't have much experience, and he is black. We have Super Chief, a very, very minor character that shows up in a few comics I have. We have Bullet Girl, a Van Morrison character. This is her first appearance outside of her own book. Then we have Anthrax Bug. This is Kevin Giffen rearing his head. The truth is, it is Anthrax Bug that makes this team a joke. The other 4 characters are not awful heroes. In other circumstances, they would be fine additions to the Justice League. Since this issue is concerning itself with the Justice League and their legacy and their absence, it checks in on the Vision. It makes sense to check in on him. He also took a year off, and we will see his big return in that World War III miniseries. And here are statues of all the dead Justice League members. I think this is one of the strongest issues of the 5-2 because it has such a specific focus, and it's not 5 different subplots by different writers all vying for attention. I've said that, but here is one of those. We have the Black Atom plotline, and this is non-stop John Jeffries. It is 52 issues of the most drawn out and padded writing up of a pet character. John Jeffries is determined to make Black Atom the focus of everything. He took centre stage in his Justice Society of Superheroes run. He is prominently in this book. And it's always the same thing about him trying to be a good guy, but then something happens and he is a bad guy. I like the stuff with this Justice League. Here we see Frankie Ray playing to the cameras, and then they go and fight a pirate with an army of space pirate robot Caspars or summit. And Frankie Ray tells them not to embarrass her in front of the cameras. She is not a good person in this story. As you would imagine, this ad hoc Justice League are rubbish. They indeed embarrass her in front of cameras. And then a bunch of novice superheroes show up. A bunch of fame-hungry people trying to become celebrities via the gap that all the actual superheroes have left in the world. So things gone from bad to worse, and there's a little bit of an ongoing subplot with Booster Gold's robot sidekick. It shows up and it attacks Firelord. It turns out that Booster Gold's robot is evil, which was one of Van Morrison's mad ideas. It starts attacking the heroes and killing innocent persons. And this is a total disaster for this would-be Justice League. Then the robot, it seemingly kills Super Chief as well. I think it's not entirely clear, so I'm not really sure. Van Morrison said that he had wanted to include a coda to Super Chief's story in the final issue of the series, but there wasn't enough space. So as it stands, I think Super Chief died battling Booster Gold's robot. So then we have the aftermath of this, the president, and I like this issue, so I've not had much of a chance to complain about what I didn't like about the 5-2, but this is leading towards the formation of a new Suicide Squads. I think they nearly all get very graphically and brutally killed by Black Atom. And here is a bonus, a 2-page origine for Booster Gold. I didn't like the 5-2. I didn't think it accomplished what it was meant to do. I think it accomplished some other stuff, but it never showed that gap year and the developments that were meant to have happened during it. I also really take issue with the core conceit that the big heroes would just take a year-long hiatus. It is out of character for all of them. Batman, I think, were Batman to take a year off, in his stead, he would leave someone in charge. He would leave Nightbird to fill in for him. Or he'd have Robert assume the Batman mantle. He'd not just abandon everyone, especially if it seems everyone else is following suit. This is a fun issue though. It was a lot less fun than I remembered, but it's still enjoyable. I rate it a 7 thumbs up.